Hey folks, welcome back to the bench. Well, I'm doing some more work on my FPV system. You saw in the previous video how I wired up the old monitor and the camera and the transmitter and receiver and got it all working on battery power. But today I'm going to try to finalize that setup. Let me show you. I'll just get swung over here. You can see a mess on the bench as usual. Got some glue sticks ready to go and my hot glue gun. Now my plan is to get the power system, get rid of all this nastiness and this voltage regulator that gets too warm, and get it all sorted out and mounted in some fashion into this monitor. Now I was thinking that, yeah, I can maybe pull 5 volts out of here. I might be able to, I might not, because I don't know if there will be a 5 volt power rail in here that'll provide enough current. The only way to find out is to crack this open and see what I've got to work with. But even if there is no 5 volt rail, what I'm going to do is take one of these. Just gotta give me a moment. This guy right here probably. These are the red brick 20 amp speed controllers from Hobby King that I originally had bought for my quadcopter, the first version, and they didn't work out well, so I bought some different ones. But these are supposed to have, I think, a 3 amp output on the BEC, 5 volts obviously, 3 amp. So I've got some spare ones. So I figured I'm going to use the BEC portion of this to power the receiver. Should work out okay. So what'll happen is the battery will come into the connector, mounted somewhere in here. Maybe I'll just have a pigtail coming out of the monitor, have a battery come in, and then internally it'll power the monitor. And I don't know if I'll mount this internally or externally, but it'll also feed this, and then the BEC on this will feed this. So that's the plan. Whether it'll work out or not, we'll see, but I'm going to bust into this first and see what's inside. So I'll just rip all these screws out and open her up, and we'll go from there. So just hold tight. Alright, got the screwdriver handy. Got these screws out already. I think I'll probably have to take these off as well for the base, which won't get used because I'm going to make a plate here that mounts this to the tripod. But let's get this off of here. Not sure. I got a feeling there'll be a decent amount of room in this, hopefully, to mount some of the stuff internally. So this has to go on here somewhere as well, and then I've got to route this into that. So who knows? We'll see how hard it is for me to shorten this up. Maybe once we break into it, might be too much trouble, but we'll see. Now, let's get a flat blade out of this. I'm not too fond of these types of screwdrivers, but it works. Looks like this thing was dropped at one point. Kind of stuck open a bit. Come on. Open sesame. Never mind, I got one more screw right here. Let's see. Pliers. Come on. There we go. Should open up now. Let's see here. Should be a bunch of shielding within this. There she be. Yeah, there we go. So you see there's not a ton of room. I did have this open once before, didn't I? Yeah, I did. What am I thinking? I think I showed you the insides, but in any case, there's the insides again. So I've got some room along this side where I can maybe mount this in such a way, isolate so it doesn't short things out, but this could be mounted, and heck, it'd be interesting. That sticks out too far. The back is curved. I was thinking, what? Sorry, thinking out loud. That would be kind of cool if a person could even mount that in there. But if I ever want to use it for something else, if I mount it on here with Velcro, I can just peel it off and use it elsewhere. So now I'm going to take the shielding off and take a look at the internal power supply. I really don't expect that there will be a good enough power supply in here to give me the 5 volts needed. Alright. See, this is the power supply board right here, and I don't really know what those numbers are, but there's a choke, there's a couple discrete devices, and you know, I'm not going to risk blowing this up for the sake of powering this. So I think what I'll just do is, I don't want to use this connector either to power the monitor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this board out of here and get at the back side and mount some wires on it that can be fed to the power distribution, however I decide to do the power distribution. So let's take this out. Got a feeling this is going to be a fairly long video, but I'll try to make it as brief as possible, because I know I like to ramble on. I don't know if you guys like seeing all this stuff or not. But let me know if I should keep on the way I'm going, or if I need to shorten things up. Yeah, this capacitor, she's a little bit bulged. Could almost use a replacement capacitor, but I don't have anything at the moment. Doubt you can see in the video, but if you can see on that cap is bulged out. It is a, what size? 1000 microfarad 10 volt. I doubt I have anything like that, but I might look through my junk downstairs and see and replace it if I have something. Nothing else, I'll use some hot glue and glue her back down. But my plan is just to pick off these points, a positive and negative, and bring some wire out, and then it can go into wherever my power feed is. So I'll fire up the soldering iron and throw those wires on, put the shield back on, and then continue on with the next steps. Well, the mess on the bench grows greater, but I got the wire hooked up. I staked it down with just some hot glue. And I have it running this way, and I'm hoping it doesn't cause any issues. I have it tie wrapped to the video input signal, having the power come close and causing interference, but we'll see what happens. And now, as well, I hogged this open here just to give a spot for the wire to come out from under the shield. So I can put the shield back on now. Let's see if I gave her enough space. Oh yeah, plenty of room. So I can put the screws back in, hold this on, and then proceed with the next step, which will be figuring out how the heck I'm going to do all the power distribution. Let's see, most of it I think it's going to be in this neighborhood here, which means I'll mount the battery on this side, and then the video stuff can be on this side, and the cables can kind of run on the outside. I'm probably being a little too anal, trying to make it, I don't know, look like a factory setup, when in fact it just, I want it to be worry more about function than form, but I do want to do a good job. Come on. You can see I've got a blue and a white wire. I didn't have any black hookup wire. That's 18 gauge wire. Didn't need anything heavier than that. I had some smaller stuff that was too small. That'll work, but the blue is the ground and the white is the 12 volts in. So, there I said so again. Sorry about that. That annoys you folks. I was thinking of maybe using this as a distribution board. It's already got the leads or lead on it for the battery. So I figured I could desolder these connections, and then, or the bullet connectors. This could go on like so in one of them. I could pull power off another one to go to the, now what do I need to power? I need to power this, 5 volts, and this with 12 volts. So one lead can come off, can come around here, come out, pop out of the monitor, and then hook up to this. And the other lead could come out, maybe come around as well, or maybe just come straight out here and have this mounted there. But first it's got to go through that, which I could mount right below. I think that'll work out just fine. I could use banana connectors, but not too interested in having to be able to remove stuff once it's all on there. So that's what I think I'll try. I can just use some hot glue or whatever and stick this in here good. And it should give me some good clearance, and then right in there, this is already there to hook up to the battery. Just blow a hole in the back of the cover. And Bob's your uncle, I think she'll work out just fine. So I will continue on and show you the final result. Well, I said I would show you the finished product, but this isn't the finished product yet. Just figure I'd show you a few along the way in terms steps. Got the power distribution board on there. She's glued down with some trusty old hot glue. And I figured before I go any further, I'm going to plug a battery in and make sure I've got this right. Now either it's going to work, and I'm sure it's going to work, or you're going to see some magical smoke. Let's see what happens. Here we go, folks. Green lights on. Thumbs up. Perfect. Next step is to get this rigged up. Now these wires are pretty small for the BEC connection. So I'm gonna have to pull this hot glue off. I don't know how they figure it's good for 3 amps when you have these little tiny wires coming out of there, but yeah, it is what it is. So I'm going to hook up the power into this, which wires? Yeah, these ones here. Can't remember which is plus and minus. I'll figure it out. 12 volts in, 5 volts out, and then I'll hook up to this, the 5 volt power coming out of here, and see what it does. Maybe I'll get this powering this and do a preliminary test before getting it all mounted into place. That would make the most sense, wouldn't it? Make sure that this indeed is going to meet my power needs. So I will get these all wired up and we'll try it out. Alright, as you can see, or hopefully you can see, there it is. I've got the speed controller wired up. And something I noticed, go figure, this isn't a switch mode regulator. Obviously, it was obvious once I looked at it, but it's actually just got two 7805 voltage regulators on the board. And that's how they get their so-called 3 amps, because these are rated at 1.5 amps, but without proper cooling, they're not going to handle 1.5 amps. So my original plan of using 7805s, I guess I'm doing that, but I'm just grabbing them off of one of these. Hopefully it'll work. I might have to mount some sort of little fan in this, but we'll see. So now I've just got them soldered on here temporarily. Let's make sure I got my plus and my minus right. I do. And before I actually plug it into this unit, I'm going to put a battery on here and make sure that I've got my 12 volts coming out. Let's see, I can prop this up. I don't know if you can see the meter or not. The display. Yeah, you can see it. Let's get my battery. Where is it? This guy right here. Plug it in. On comes the monitor. No smoke from the speed controller yet. I might have to order up a universal BEC, but there's my 5 volts out. And now let's plug this bad boy in and see if she lights up. Blue light's on, which is good. Before I could see it flickering because of brownout issues, but nothing as of yet. Now let's try hooking up this camera and the transmitter. I'll just use another battery for now and see if she browns out or not, because before it kept browning out on me. Let's do that. There's my blue screen. There's my menu. There's a different picture modes. Interesting. So now I need my camera, which is where? Come on. Got all this stuff, junk in the way here. There's my camera. Right there. Got another little battery, so I'll fire up the camera. Like so. And now I'll take what's left of my wiring harness. Got the wires chopped for the voltage regulator, but this will still work to power my receiver. Obviously this isn't going to be how I'm doing it. It's going to be powered off that same battery, but let's power it on as well. There's juice. Last thing I need is my interface cable, and it was here earlier. Where did I put it? Right. Let's plug this in to there. Plug this into the output. And let's power it back up again. DC in. Look at that, came on instantly. Now I got to turn the camera in the housing 90 degrees, but it's working good. And no brownouts yet. And let's feel this little guy. Oh, she's getting warm, folks. Very warm. I'm not sure if that's going to be a great way of doing this or not. It's getting super warm. The FETs are even getting warm, even though there's no signal going into it. So you know something? I'm going to have to go a different route. That kind of sucks. Wow. Hot, hot, hot. So that's not going to work. Worth a darn. So I guess it's on to another, figure something else out. I guess I'll have to order up, come on, a different voltage buck converter or something, a 5 volt one, or maybe I will go this route with a fan So that got pretty warm too, but this thing mounted inside there. Just gonna get way too hot. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more digging. So I guess that's where this video ends, because that was my plan, was to get her all hooked together, and until I figure out what I'm going to do for my 5 volts, I can't do anything. I guess I could always just make a voltage divider or something like that, or maybe I'll just get a couple LM 7805 voltage regulators, figure out how you safely wire them in parallel, and I could use this metal as a heat sink and mount them on here, and maybe get just a small little fan to suck air off across them or whatever. But what can I say? Another failed attempt. So keep on watching for the next installment of this. Until then, take care and talk to you later.